from Nairobi, Kenya. This is EBN TV.
Bwana Yesu asifiwe, watazamaji wa EBN. Kwa majina naitwa Pastor Julius Mutuko, na nataka kukaribisha kwa kipindi ambacho tutakuwa tukisikiliza neno la Mungu kila siku ya Ijumaa na Jumamosi kuanzia saa 3:30 jioni hadi saa 4:30 kila siku kwa lisali moja, na hivyo tukiangazia true worship ama kuabudu halisi, ambapo tukiangalia Biblia kitabu cha Yohana 4:23-24, Yesu alipokuwa akiongea na mwanamke Msamaria, alimwambia wakati unakuja ambapo watu watamwabudu Baba katika roho na kweli, kwa maana Baba ni roho ama Mungu ni roho, na yuwatafuta watu kama hao ili wakamwabudu. So John nami tukaweze kujua kuabudu halisi ni nini kwa siku hizo. Karibuni nyote in Jesus name. Asanteni.
Hello, good evening and welcome to the broadcast. You're watching EBN Prime Edition. Now, tonight and every day henceforth, it is not fair as usual. It is bus fare and usual, as the Matatu Owners Association of Kenya have reviewed bus fare prices up. This and much more detail will be coming to you within this broadcast. But here are the day's top stories.
Only 11% think that people who contribute to the housing levy will get a house.
Tifa poll reveals majority of Kenyans are against the housing fund levy, including supporters of President William Ruto.
July 2023, passengers can expect a moderate increase.
Painful logistics as Matatu Owners Association review bus fare prices up across the country. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua mourns Londiani Road accident victims, pledges support to the families. Kitui East Member of Parliament Nimrod Mbai caught on camera assaulting a KPLC employee over alleged disconnection of power from his house in Kitengela. Now be part of this bulletin. Our SMS line is 23993. You can watch us live on Facebook, on EBN TV as well as YouTube. My name is Cynthia Nanjala. I'll be your captain for tonight. Now, Kenyans find themselves in difficult economic position as it is expected effective Wednesday, 5th July. Bus fare prices will increase by 30%. This happens just 3 days after the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority, EPRA, increased fuel prices VAT by 8% to 16%. The new bus fare prices announced is set to take a toll on the common wananchi's pocket, even as a court case had been filed by Senator Okia Omtata that saw the court halt government's intent to abide by the Finance Bill 2023 that was signed into law by President William Ruto. Emmanuel Mara reports.
July 2023 passengers can expect a moderate increase.
Kenyans are expecting a difficult economic situation after the Matatu Owners Association announced a plan to increase fares starting tomorrow, Wednesday, July 15th. According to the chairman of Matatu Owners Association, Michael Kariuki, the fare price will rise by 30% in various routes, including those serving in urban and long-distance areas. This is following the recent increase in fuel prices brought about by the Finance Law of 2023.
The decision to effect this fare hike was not taken lightly, and we understand the potential impact on commuters and the wider public. However, it is essential to strike a balance between maintaining a reliable and efficient transport system and addressing the economic realities faced by the Matatu owners.
The Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority, EPRA, on Friday, on 30th, announced the new fuel prices this month despite a High Court order issued by Justice Mugure Thande to suspend the Finance Act in 2023, doubling the value-added tax VAT on fuel from 8% to 16%, which was proposed by the 2023 Finance Bill. According to the Matatu Association, fares will increase between 10 shillings to 30 for areas around Nairobi, 10 to 50 shillings in metropolis towns, 30 to 70 in coastal areas, 20 for Nyanza and Rift City Services Valley. For long-distance travelers, rates are set to increase from 100 shillings to 200 shillings. Even after the court's order to suspend the implementation of the act, inspections shows that petrol stations are still selling fuel at a high price. In Nairobi, petrol is sold at 195 shilling per litre, diesel at 179 shilling, and kerosene at 173 shillings per litre. The increase in fuel prices is expected to have a major impact on the cost of living in the country, while important sectors such as industry, transport and distribution will be more affected.
We recognize that our passengers are already grappling with a financial burden, and we assure commuters that we are undertaking this fare adjustment as a last resort.
Emmanuel Marwa reporting for EBN TV, Nairobi.
Indeed, certain difficult times ahead. More than 2/3 of Kenyans, equivalent of 69%, do not support the housing levy, a poll by TIFA shows. The poll, which was released on Tuesday, shows that even a majority of government supporters, about 54% of them, are against the levy, while nearly all opposition supporters oppose it at 84%. A new survey shows that a majority of Kenyans do not believe they will get houses under President William Ruto's housing fund, which was recently enacted under the Finance Act. The national survey was conducted between June 23rd and June 30th among 1,530 respondents through mobile phones.
Overall, only 11% think that people who contribute to the housing levy will get a house. There's been a kind of a change, if I understand, in the messaging from the government about the relationship between contributing and getting the house.
It also found that only 3% of Kenyans earn an income above 50,000 Kenyan shillings a month, and 38% of Kenyans do not have a monthly income, as 12% earn less than 5,000 Kenyan shillings. Those earning between 5,000 and 10,000 Kenyan shillings were at 12%, while 13% earn between 10,000 and 20,000 Kenyan shillings. Some 10% earn between 20,000 and 50,000 Kenyan shillings, while 11% said they are not sure. The interviews were conducted across 9 zones, namely Central Rift, Coast Lower Eastern, Mount Kenya, Nairobi, Northern, Nyanza, South Rift, and Western. The aim of the poll was to find out the state of the economy as experienced and perceived by Kenyans. Some of the topics covered included the recently passed 2023-2024 budget, including the finance bill, of which the housing levy constituted a highly contested element.
It was first proposed in the finance bill before the parliamentary committee went to Naivasha. I recall people on behalf of the government saying that people will contribute, they can get a house, but if they don't want one after 7 years, they can take the money out that was contributed by them and their employer. But people are contributing. We're definitely going to be able, after a certain number of years, to get a house.
According to the report, government supporters are 5 times more certain that those who will pay the housing levy will get a house as compared to just 4% of the opposition counterparts. Overall, 54% of Kenyans feel those who will pay the housing levy will not get to own a house. Some 184 members of parliament voted in support of the housing tax, while 72 opposed it in a heated debate between the Kenya Kwanza allied members of parliament and their counterparts from the Azimio opposition coalition. President William Ruto later assented to the Finance Bill 2023, paving the way for employees to be charged a 1.5% tax on their gross salary starting July. Now, the decision by President William Ruto to lift the ban on logging in trees has attracted divided opinion from various environment stakeholders who claim the move could deter efforts to increase forest cover in the country. While speaking also, he highlighted the need for the country to ensure that they also are not against the climate change. Now, the head of state was against the cutting of trees during his tenure as deputy president and even placed a ban on the activity. Here is Victor Enzobeli with that report.
When the government imposed a moratorium on logging in public forests, its intention was to safeguard the existing forests as the country strived to achieve a 10% forest cover by the following year. According to the Kenyan National Bureau of Statistics report from 2020, it seemed that the target had been met. However, recent revelations indicate that this decision had socio-economic implications. The 2020 Economic Survey report revealed that the total public forest cover had increased from 141,600 hectares in 2018 to 147,600 hectares in 2019 due to the ban on forest logging during that year. However, the area of newly planted forest during the same period decreased from 9,200 hectares in 2018 to 7,200 hectares. Notably, no forested area was felled in 2019. Despite concerns raised by environmental organizations, Kenya President William Ruto announced on Sunday that he will be lifting the logging ban that had been in place since 2018. During a church service in Molo, a town located approximately 200 kilometers northwest of Nairobi, Ruto emphasized that this decision was long overdue and aimed at generating employment opportunities and fostering economic growth.
Wataenda kununua kitanda sijui nini furniture kutoka nchi ya nje, tutamulipisha ushuru kwa sababu tunataka hiyo vitu yote itengenezwe na vijana wa taifa letu.
It is true that we have 2,000 rangers, but it's like a drop in the ocean. Our forests are huge. You find only one guard taking care of about 100 and sometimes 50, more than 100 acres. What can they do? They don't even have the resources. They don't have the houses. They don't have cars. They don't have motorcycles that can take them there. The forests are not protected. They are not fenced off. We have placed
President Ruto, who had been a strong advocate for the logging ban during his tenure as deputy president when it was introduced by the previous government, assured that his administration will maintain its commitment to planting 15 billion trees within the next 10 years.
Sehemu nyingi ya Kenya misitu inaharibiwa na watu ambao wamepatiwa leseni kukata miti, na leo nimeamurisha wizara ambayo inahusika na mambo ya mazingira na misitu kukomesha kukata miti katika forest yote ya serikali na ya community for the next 90 days. We must stop all cutting of. Wetu waendeshe biashara yao na tuweke mpango ya kupanda miti bilioni 15. Hapa Nakuru tunatarajia nyinyi mtapanda miti milioni 650. Tumeshakubaliana 650 million, Governor.
However, Greenpeace Africa expressed its concerns over the decision, warning that it could have devastating consequences for the environment. Currently, the forest cover in Kenya stands at 8.8% as reported by the government, while the forestry and logging industry contributed 1.6% to the country's economy in 2022. The question is, will lifting the logging ban truly result in economic growth and job creation, or will it pose a significant threat to the environment and hinder progress toward achieving the desired forest cover? Victor Enzobele for EBN TV.
Now, what is Azimio leader Raila Odinga up to? Now, the opposition leader has vowed that he will not relent in his quest to ensure that the Kenya Kwanza government stops taxing Kenyans heavily. Raila, who addressed a press conference on Tuesday afternoon, said that citizens tired with the government's heavy taxation will have to exercise the rights given by the Constitution to picket and force reversal of the high cost of living occasioned by the same. He accused the President William Ruto's led government of lying to Kenyans during campaigns ahead of the general elections last year that the cost of living will be bearable should Kenya Kwanza government take over power, which it did, only to do the opposite. The opposition leader insisted that the protest rally of Friday 7th at Kamukunji grounds is on.
Consequently, we are embarking on some drastic actions against the Ruto illegitimate regime because of Ruto's own actions against us. Ruto is imposing taxes on us without our consent and making laws whose net effect is to make life increasingly difficult for our people. We are here because the taxation situation in the country and its accompanying injustices can no longer be tolerated. Ruto has even removed subsidies on fuel, unga, electricity, and even school fees, while giving subsidies to helicopter owners and using our money to finance lavish lifestyles of his allies. As a country, we are at that point. We invite all our people to prepare to join the Kamkunji in Nairobi and in different other places across the country on Friday. I want to repeat that it's not just in Nairobi. It will be in other centers across the country, and the names are going to be announced shortly. Thank you, Kenyans. Let us meet in Kamkunji and other parts of the country for the Sabasaba of our lifetime. Thank you.
Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua on Tuesday joined friends and other leaders to console the families of the victims of the Londiani accident at the prayers of various sects in Kericho County. About 54 people died, while many others were injured in the accident that occurred on Friday last week involving a truck and several passenger cars. A prayer service led by church leaders from various denominations was held in the city of Londiani. The government has promised to help the victims and the families of those who perished in the Londiani road accident. Kericho Governor Dr. Rick Mutai assured that the county government will cover the hospital and mortuary bills of the accident victims.
On our roads. And the measures you have spelled out here today make a lot of sense to all of us who are drivers, who are road users. The public sector, ya matatu na mabus na malori, has been chaotic. It is true, the late John Michoke attempted to do a very good job, and you must emulate him, but do it differently using now technology, because these are different times. I know some of the measures will be a little bit painful. I want to urge the people of Kenya to accept that for us to have meaning of change, there are few people here and there who will be affected, but for the better good for the people of Kenya. So tungetaka kuuliza wabunge wetu, when those regulations come before the National Assembly, the way our very able speaker has committed, let us support the minister and the ministry so that we can create sanity in our roads and save lives, because this is very painful. Ningetaka kusema mumeomba ya kwamba serikali pia isaidie kwa maneno ya mazishi kwa hao 52 families.
And we will need support of Parliament. And when the regulations get to Parliament soon, Your Excellency, we want all commercial and PSV vehicles and school transport vehicles must, the word is must, be fitted with dashboard cameras and vehicle telematics. We'll have these cameras and there is no excuse. Nimeona prices ya kila kamera kuweka hii mambo yote nimesema haipiti 30,000. Na hiyo itakaa throughout the life of that vehicle. So if we are going to spend only 30,000 and below to fit this equipment so that we can monitor this vehicle, Your Excellency, let it be. We will have been able to save many lives. Number two, we have going to issue the directives. It's already part of the law, but we are going to issue a directive. All road reserves will not have market.
Now to something bizarre. Kitui East Member of Parliament Nimrod Mbai is on the spot tonight after slapping a Kenya Power engineer and threatening to shoot him. In the Monday 3rd, 2023 incident captured on camera, the agitated legislator involved in an altercation with Kenya Power officials who were in his residence at Nkasiti, Kitengela on normal power connection checkup. Things turned ugly after the officials notified the MP that his power was illegally connected, prompting to its disconnection. Mbai used abusive language invoking President William Ruto's name, claiming he had given directive that power that is illegally connected be metered instead. Kenya Power officials maintain they will deal with individuals and companies that have illegal power connections. Peter Kithusia, head of Kenya Power Security in Kitengela region, says the crackdown will be intensified across the region, further saying the illegal connections cause or pose a major safety threat to those connected.
Abana, are you call? Call, my friend. Call. Make a call. No. I'm not here to talk with you guys. Piga simu lori kuje. Piga simu. Call, piga simu. Umetumwa na nani na
What is it they call them? Honorable members of Parliament? Well, we question that. Now, the Senate is expected to hold its sessions from 25 to 29th of September in Turkana County. The organizing committee to organize the plans for the sessions, led by the chairperson Zakayo Mogere, says they have visited Turkana County to assess the situation and start preparations. In addition, he says all senators and Senate staff are expected to visit Turkana County when the sessions begin. However, the Deputy Governor of Turkana, John Erus, says the county government will cooperate with the Senate to ensure that it succeeds in its meetings in Turkana.
Now the head of the Secretariat, who is the Clerk of Senate, appointed a select team to visit Turkana and work with colleagues both in Turkana County Assembly and the County Executive, so that to bring to fruition and to have a successful sittings of the Senate in Turkana from 25th to 29th of September this year. To begin with, those are 67 senators plus our speaker. So it is we are moving the entire Senate from Nairobi to Turkana.
We as the Turkana County leadership are very happy that we are ready to support the County Assembly to deliver, and we are also lucky as Turkana County that will be hosting the Senate. At the same time we will be hosting the Turkana Cultural Tourism and Cultural Festival, Tobonglore. So that is going to be really a blessing to us, and we hope that by putting all those together that we can showcase different sectors. We'll put together segments of what we feel is a great opportunity for Turkana County, and so we have assured them that if there are resources that may be needed, the Turkana County government is going to ensure that those resources are available to make the Senate sitting in Turkana a success.
Sawmillers in Mount Kenya region are back in business after a break of 6 years that had been imposed by the government in an effort to conserve forests. The traders were banned from any logging from the government forest and mainly in Mount Kenya forest and have been out of business. They complained that this has seen most of them totally incapacitated as they had paid to the government logs that they never removed from the forests. The reopening came as the president gave the directive that they will be allowed to collect what they have paid for. However, they have agreed to work with the government in increasing the forest cover even as they cut down the mature trees. Employees in the sector say they are happy they are back to work.
Sasa tunafurahia jua president wetu Rigathi Gachagua kuturudishia miti na wenye walikuwa wamefungua masomilu zao bado pia wanafurahia juu kurudishiwa miti na hizo pesa zao ingepotelea, lakini sasa wanafurahia na wafanyikazi wao wenye walikuwa wanasumbuana kukopa pesa wana namna ya kuidimu kwa mashule msingi na manyumbani kwao. Sasa tunafurahia juu kazi imerudi. Tena kwa msituni tunaomba kama serikali itaregeza hiyo miti na watu wakate miti vizuri na pia watu wapande miti ndio forest zetu zirudi pia sawa sawa.
Tunashukuru His Excellency the President Samuel William Ruto kwa kuturudisha kazi. Sasa ndio tumerudi kazi na ninaona kazi yetu itaenda mzuri na sana tutasaidia vijana wengi sana. Hapa kwa hii somilo yangu nilikuwa na vijana zaidi ya 80, lakini wakati hii moratorium ilikuja wote walienda nyumbani. Mazingira na turudishe misitu yote yenye ilikuwa. Tukikata tuna make sure hiyo miti imepandwa na imepandwa mara 2 yenye tunakata.
Mimi ni mfanyikazi wa hii timba ya Jedidia na nimefurahia vyenye kumerudi. Nashukuru sana. Mimi nilikuwa wakati kulifungwa nilikuwa nateseka sana. Yaani hata ukitafuta kibarua upati, lakini saa hii nimepata, ninashukuru sana.
Now, the Ministry of Agriculture in Kakamega County has planned to launch an agricultural project aimed at good nutrition known as agri-nutrition in an effort to combat hunger, poverty and malnutrition among residents. Stakeholders from all relevant sectors have been asked to join in the effort, calling on the Kakamega County government to ensure that this project is successful, as its success is expected to bring changes to the health, education and many other sectors if the health of the resident is given priority. Benjamin Andama, who is the supervisor of agriculture and livestock affairs, has issued the statement encouraging residents to start implementing the project from home, while all stakeholders are urged to cooperate to ensure the success of the project funded by USAID to fight malnutrition.
Not only kuiangalia, it comes there as a treatment aspect instead of prevention, and we say prevention is better than cure. And for us in agriculture, this is an area we really advocate the maximum. Our chief of staff, from the other side. Now we are handing over. Mama, this is a little bit heavy for you. Again, you are not prepared. The issue of nutrition and implementing this within our project, our first day, we ask humbly. Because we want it to be shouted to the top, and it and putting it where it's supposed to be. Maybe you find your kulima, you find your.
As you give me the mantle to run nutrition, which I'm already doing because I'm the nutrition champion. I want to request that as we launch this strategy today, please make sure it's implemented. I want us to have few people in health in the hospital. I want us to have our children in school because they are well fed. I want us to have our mothers healthy and give us more babies because they are well fed. I want our mothers to have food and money, isn't it? Yes. So we all rely on this department, agriculture, livestock, fisheries, and cooperatives, for everything else to run. So if this department is okay, then we are all fine. So it's a challenge for us in the department. The county faces a triple burden of malnutrition. That is undernutrition, overnutrition, and hidden hunger. Undernutrition refers to stunting, overweight, and wasting. Overnutrition is overweight and obesity, while hidden hunger is micronutrient deficiencies. Due to this burden, nutritional security is of great importance to our county.
Now, some farmers who sell their corn in the field at a throwaway price, a situation that puts them at risk of starvation, have been warned by government officials. The member of the Western Region, Irungu Macharia, has given a strong warning to farmers. Giving a speech to residents at Navaholo, Macharia has expressed his dismay at the action of some farmers who sell their maize in the field when the nation is facing the expensive price of flour and hunger bars. This happens despite the government providing agricultural equipment at lower prices. Now, the warning has been supported by Navaholo Sub-County Commissioner Joseph Sadia, who has pointed out that these farmers are being harassed by those who buy their corn and trucks from the farm.
Naona pickups zimeanza kuja area hii, wanasanya mahindi hapa na pale, na mkulima saa anauza at only 5 shillings. Na ukifuata huyo mtu town amechoma hapo, anakwambia saizi atakwambia 30 shillings or 40 shillings. Nani anaenda hasara? Haraka haina. Nashukuru Mungu kwamba serikali ya kaunti na serikali kuu zilishirikiana kwa pamoja, wakatupatia farm inputs, tukapewa fertilizer, tukapewa mbegu. Tukitembea huku kwa shamba tunaona, tukipita kwa barabara tunaona mahindi karibu ikomae. Na saizi tumetoka kuambiwa na DCC hapa tumeanza kuuza mahindi ikiwa green. So na vile ametoa vitu, wacha tugoje tu. Ukivuna mahindi ukiuza ikiwa green kwa shamba, ujue huwezi pata manufaa ya kulima. Shilingi 5 haitoshi. Alafu shilingi 5, hiyo shilingi 5 huwezi weka kwa store ati utakula Januari ama mwezi wa 5. Ukipata pesa unatumia leo, mwezi jioni huko na unga ya 50 juu ya mesa. Kwa wale wakulima ambao walilima, wale hawakuweka juhudi katika kilimo, wataendelea kulia njaa. Lakini kwetu sisi tuko tunajua kwamba tuko katika karibu kutoka katika njaa, lakini lazima tu manage hiyo chakula yetu. Mungu akidujalia tuvune, wacha tuweke kwa kila mtu mzima kwa boma gunia moja ya mahindi kwa mwaka na nusu ya maharagwe, tujue kwamba mwaka huo wote hatupati njaa.
The Union of Long Distance Drivers has threatened to go on strike to ask the government to improve transport services while resisting the pressure to force them to go back to school to receive more driving training. Speaking in Mombasa County, led by the chairperson of the Drivers Kenya, Peter Tanui, they have said that if they are pressured to receive more lessons, so the government should pay attention to those lessons. However, they have asked the government to set aside places for trucks to park and for drivers to be guaranteed their safety.
Tarehe 12 tutakuwa na mgomo kwa sababu ya hiyo matakwa yetu. Tuongee kwa maelewano, amicable way. Classes za madereva, NTSA system yao imepoteza classes za madereva. Unapata mtu alilipia hiyo class ambao ni ya trailer, attic, lakini akienda kurenew license hizo classes haziko.
Lakini hapa Kenya unapata exploitation ya askari wa trafiki. Askari wa trafiki kuanzia Mariakani, kituo cha Mariakani, kituo cha Motito, kituo cha Sultan Hamud, kituo cha Makindu. Ukitoka Nairobi unaenenda kituo cha Mau Summit. Au maaskari kazi yao kubwa ni kuchukua hongo kwa madereva. na kile kitu ambacho wanafanya ni kulazimisha, na wanajua kuna system ambayo wanaweza kuitumia, na hii system
hizi jambo la NTSA wamekuja kutuondolea hizi hatics kwa leseni zetu katika system. Hilo jambo limetuudhi sana, kwa sababu mtu ameendesha gari miaka 30, 40, kuna mzee sasa ana miaka 80 na analea watoto wake na ile leseni. Anaenda anapata hiyo hatiki imetolewa. Ikishatolewa naambiwa rudi shule. Yule mtu ana akili ya kushika zile vitu ziko pale. Hiyo ni kitu ambacho moja imetukera sana sisi kama madereva wa masafa marefu.
So that brings us to the end of our bulletin tonight. Thank you for your valuable company, for the feedback that has been coming in through our social media platforms. We say asante sana. Indeed, the big shocker on the bus fare prices being reviewed, and of course, as I mentioned many times before in other bulletins, that the price of fuel has a ripple effect on basically every other commodities that we use on a day-to-day basis. So we do hope that eventually we'll be able to be bold enough and just live it through the tough conditions. Now tomorrow morning, join me on Morning Live at 7 a.m. I'll be having a conversation on preeclampsia, which is one of the most reasons as to why we have increased maternal deaths in Kenya, and not just in Kenya but also beyond the borders. I'll be joined by an obstetrician and gynecologist, Dr. Gulavi, for that conversation tomorrow morning. So if you're a woman who is expectant, or you've gone through that process, that is definitely the show for you. And not just women as well, but also men can tune in to get more information on this, particularly those who plan on going into that parenthood journey or have been through that journey. So that conversation on preeclampsia, one of the topmost causes of maternal deaths in Kenya, we will be having it tomorrow at 7 a.m. on Morning Live. I speak too much. My name is Cynthia Nanjala. Do enjoy the rest of your broadcast. Have a lovely night.